Hey everybody, welcome to the Purpose Exercise. This is my favorite exercise, possibly the entire curriculum. You are going to get super clear, confident, and convicted about the direction of your career that feels purpose-driven to you. We are going to dig deep on what energizes you, what matters to you, and how you might use your gifts and your talents and your skills to make an impact on other people and earn a living. This is us figuring out our North Star. It's us tuning that inner compass so that we are going to take the right path up this mountain. And it's going to set the foundation for the rest of the course. So everything here you are going to take with you into the employment pursuit section, and you are going to take it into the entrepreneurial pursuit section as well. Before we jump in, I want to give a quick disclaimer. This is called the Purpose Exercise. Yes, because I think it's very, very important to find purpose in the career that you're going for. I want you to have a purpose-driven mindset. However, I think a lot of people find that they put their identity in careers and that they feel like they have to go find their purpose. This is kind of another topic, but purpose is not found from outside of you. It's found from within you. It's in how you love and you treat your people, your family, your siblings, your friends, your classmates, your coworkers. It's how you show up whenever you go to the grocery store and, you're nice to the checkout clerk. It's being nice to people in the hallways and saying hi, acknowledging people. It's trying to do something meaningful even whenever nobody's watching. That's purpose. And where this exercise comes in is to make sure that you are listening to what you already know inside of you to align your career. That is a big part of our life. It's very reasonable why a lot of people put their identities in their careers, because we spend a lot of time there. But you want to make sure you're spending time in the right place, right? So this is that work to make sure that you are aligning your work with your life aspirations. But as we just said, decide to find purpose in everyday moments in everyday life. That is true purpose. And you bring it with you in everything you do, including your work. So let's jump in. Let's go over our agenda today. First, we are going to complete the purpose exercise. And this consists of exploring your interests and passions, your skills and talents, how you can fulfill a need in the world, and ways to be compensated. Next, we are going to take all of these inputs from the purpose exercise and develop purpose themes. And finally, we are going to complete your career ideas tracker, in which you're going to take these purpose themes to explore employment ideas, which could be existing jobs on the market, and entrepreneurship ideas, which could be services or products that you sell in your own business. Then we are going to talk about what enabling avenues can get you to either of those different ideas, or maybe a mix of both, and the pros and cons to each. To do this, we're going to use the Ikigai framework so that you can identify themes that point towards meaningful career options. So we're starting in the abstract, right? But we're going to make this all very concrete. So whenever you get to the employment and the entrepreneurship pursuit sections, you're going to have a better idea of tactically how you want to spend your energy and time, either getting a job or building a business. But first, we have to start from, what do you want to do? Like, what actually interests you? So we're going to use this purpose template to help you answer that question. Okay, first and foremost, make a copy of the Word document or print it if you prefer writing it by hand. Make sure you silence all distractions. Set aside just 15 minutes of focus for this exercise. Clear your workspace, turn off notifications, and just really allow yourself, honor yourself to get honest with yourself. Open this document and make sure you also have the career ideas tracker handy too. That's going to be the part 2 of this exercise, but we are going to start in this purpose exercise document first. How this template works, you're going to fill out each section using the prompt. Use bullet points or phrases, no full sentences, just random thoughts captured here. There are 4 areas of the Ikigai diagram. It's a tool from Japan that helps people reflect on their purpose. It also means reason for being. And there are 4 quadrants. It is your interests and passions. This is what you love doing. It is your skills and talents, what you're good at. It is how you can fulfill a need. So how do you want to help the world? And then compensation, how could I be paid for this? Don't worry about getting perfect answers. Write what comes up right now in this season you're in. You can refine it later. You might even change your answers over time, and you will always have this resource that you can repeat this exercise in the future if you ever feel like you need a pivot in your life. While we're doing this exercise, we're going to review an example alongside of it so that you can see this template and the power of writing down these answers, how it could come to life. And this is actually a real example. This was a past student who agreed to allow us to use this purpose exercise. So we are going to call him Alexander. Thank you, Alexander, for allowing us to use this purpose exercise. It is really well done. And I think it really illustrates how to make the use of this template. I guess without further ado, let's create your own template. You've got this. It's go time. So let's make some magic happen on purpose. So section 1 is your interests and your passions. You're going to fill in the section with things that you love. Even if they seem random, trust me, just write your answers down in the box. So here are some prompts that we're going to walk through together. First, what topics or subjects do you love learning or sharing just for fun? Write anything that you get excited to talk about or to learn about. So an example, like maybe it's space, maybe it's fashion, maybe it's psychology, maybe it's music, whatever subjects intrigue you naturally. Second, what community causes or initiatives do you care about? Another way to ask this question is what breaks your heart? Maybe it's helping the homeless. Maybe it is mental health. Maybe it is clean oceans or it's tutoring students. So maybe these things are something that tug on your heartstrings. What does that look like for you? The next one, what activities make you feel energized or in the zone? So think of moments whenever just time flies for you. Maybe that's playing sports. Maybe it's painting. Maybe it's coding. Maybe it's leading a group. What is that for you? And then fourth, if money weren't an issue, how would you spend your time? A good way to think about this is like, if you could do any job in the world and like money did not matter, how would you spend your time? Like, where would you put your energy? What jobs would you want to do? So write that down. So quickly, we're going to look at what Alexander put down. And I asked him for some extra context on why he chose the answers that he did so that you can have the context if it gives you any inspiration for your own answers. First, he put faith. He's a Christian. It's meant a lot to him in every area of his life. Books. He said that he reads personal and business and self-help books. Data analytics. He's currently taking a class on business analytics in school. Fitness. He said he's really committed to working out every day, sometimes even twice a day. He also said he's interested in nutrition because he always likes trying new healthy recipes. And he takes his health supplements and powder often. He's also interested in clothes, mostly hats and workout gear. He's also interested in small businesses. His family does come from a small business background, so this means a lot to him. Coaching. He's always thought about coaching, but he's never done it. Athletics. He played college football. You know, he has this bit of an itch for a competitive edge for fitness. Travel. He wants to experience new places. So you can see he's passionate about an array of different things, and that's good. So if yours looks like this, you're on the right track because it gives us some really good different starting points for the next few exercises and what career directions we will work with. Section 2. This is your skills and talents. Now we're going to focus on what you're good at, even if maybe you don't enjoy it all. This is really important for you to understand what are your unique and innate gifts. So prompt by prompt, we'll walk through these 5 questions. First, what tasks come easily to you? So for example, maybe it's organization, maybe it's writing, maybe it's solving math problems, maybe it's calming people down. These are all signals of things people may seek you out for. Which brings us to the next question. What do others say that you're good at? So think of compliments or praises or things that people ask you for help with. Write some of those down. Next, where have you excelled in school, clubs, or jobs? So list any standout moments or projects that you're proud of. Okay, next question. What accomplishments make you proud? Do you have any awards, performances, helping people, solving hard problems that you can list? All right, and last, are there any certificates or skills that you want to earn? So maybe you want a certain license, like for example, real estate, or maybe you want to get a graphic design or coding certification, or maybe it's a health certification. Again, write bullets under each question. Don't overthink it, just jot it down. Let's look over at our friend Alexander for what he wrote. He said, meal prep, we know is also aligned with his interest. He said data visualization, which we also know is aligned with his degree and current work. Creating processes. Okay, so now we see that he has a knack for understanding how things work from end to end. Operations also goes in hand with processes and data efficiencies. Training. He said that he wrote this in regards to training other people on processes and operations. Leadership. He said people naturally seek him out for support and direction in his organizations. Empathy, which is an awesome skill and talent to list. Most people don't think of attributes like this, but these types of characteristics also absolutely translate into your work. Building community. He's joined and helped develop a few communities in his life, and he said that it was very rewarding. And then finding unique solutions, which is aligned with his knowledge and operations and data and process standardization. So hopefully from his example, you can start seeing some tangible things and start drawing some parallels between some patterns in his answers that he's giving. Section 3 is fulfilling a need. So this next part is about how you want to help or contribute. Try to write from the heart here. It's okay if your answers feel very broad or idealistic. Just write them down. We'll get more narrow later. But let's walk through the prompts. So first, how do you want to make a difference? Do you want to solve big problems or help people maybe one-on-one? Next, what problems frustrate you enough that you want to fix them? Example, maybe it's like inequality or poor design or wasteful systems or lack of access. How could you potentially step into those spaces to fix some of these things that frustrate you? Third is, what changes do you want to see in your school, community, or the world? Think global or local. And fourth is, who needs what you have to offer? So think about audiences, industries, or communities that might benefit from work that you could do, or gaps that you could fill, or opportunities that you could capitalize on that would change their life. Let's look at Alexander's example. I think these are pretty straightforward on how they fulfill a need for people or other businesses, but let's just look over his answers real quick. He wrote business processes, culture development, fitness training, health plans, meal plans, men's communities, business dashboards, and clean supplements. All very in-demand ideas for ways to help other people. And hopefully you can start to see that these themes are starting to emerge, right, in certain areas from the answers that he has. I always say, in terms of serving the world, either you can do two things. You can pick a good and you can pursue it. So you can just add beauty and value and wonderful things to people's life. Or you can pick an evil and you can fight it. So this is essentially things in the world that are harmful to humanity, that you can go and be a part of the frontline warriors who are trying to make a difference in that area of life. It's a really good way to find where you stand in what causes that you want to serve for others, and maybe where you would donate your money whenever you have it. So that brings us to section 4, compensation. To preface this section, our lives in America seem to be getting just wildly, outrageously more expensive with all of the price hikes and inflation. This is why this part of the exercise is so critical. Money is not evil. The love of money is evil. But you can have abundant money, and that is totally for you. You can absolutely have abundant money and do such good with it, right? So that's the position that you want to be in. You want to be in a position where you're optimizing your cash flow so that you can do great things with your money for your family, for your friends, for your community, for your church. So how can I generate cash flow to help sustain my life, my bills, and my personal goals and desires? Let's explore your interests and talents that might connect to money. So I'm going to go through the prompts, but they all amount to the same question, which is essentially, how could you put yourself in a position to where you get paid? Could you do this work as a part of a job? Could you do this work as a part of a business that you start on your own? Could you sell your own products or services? Okay, so let's look at Alexander. Last, he's starting to think through what position could he put himself in to make a living. So he writes, he could be a coach, he could build and sell some products, he could sell services, he could become a consultant, and he could develop a community. All very broad, but as you can see, there's some themes that are starting to emerge, and all of these could potentially align with any of those themes. So I think we're here at a pretty good start. Now it's your turn to put this into play. So first, you are going to consider each of the prompts for each of the 4 categories of the Purpose Ikigai diagram. Log either one word or short phrase in response to the prompts in the corresponding quadrant. Great work, everybody. So now that you have all 4 quadrants filled out, we are going to start connecting the dots between those themes. So there's a second page here, which will allow you to pick out some of those themes. So if we look at Alexander's, for example, based on the evidence of his answers, he decides on 2 themes. One is business and one is fitness. And we're going to explore those further in a second. To end the purpose exercise, analyze what patterns surfaced from your answers in the quadrants. Log at least 2 purpose themes and the supporting evidence that you listed to draw these conclusions. You are going to need these purpose themes for the part 2 of this exercise. So we are going to focus part 2 on the career ideas tracker. But before we do that, please go ahead and take a couple minutes for yourself and just list out what themes came to mind on your own sheet from your own results. Go ahead and put any kind of evidence that you found and just list the themes out to the left so that you can reference this whenever you get to the next video in part 2. When you're ready, I will meet you there. Hey everybody, welcome to part 2. This is where all of our kind of abstract ideas start becoming a little bit more concrete. And like I said, in the next 2 sections, you're gonna get really tactical and concrete. However, this is the next step in the sequence so that you can get to those really tactical, practical avenues of employment or entrepreneurship. So let's jump in. Open the career idea tracker spreadsheet. You're going to see sections to brainstorm both employment opportunities and entrepreneurship opportunities. So we are going to fill this out together, but for each row, that is a specific purpose theme. So using your purpose exercise results, the purpose themes you came up with, each row is going to indicate a theme. So starting in column 1, we are going to list employment ideas like job titles that are related to your first theme. If we look at Alexander's, knowing that he had both business and fitness, we're going to look at his employment themes first. So for fitness, he wrote that he was really interested in working with companies in these fields. So supplements and vitamins, fitness technology, nutrition, healthcare, fitness clothing brands, athletic teams, athletic management, sports networks, and college teams. And then under business, he wrote operations and supply chain, consulting, digital transformation, operations transformation, and AI implementation. You yourself in your sheet could even put specific companies if you want, or you could even put specific job titles that you would want in the box related to that theme. But let's move on and look at the entrepreneurship columns. They are broken out into 2 columns. One is dedicated to services and one is dedicated to products. Just to make it very simple for you to write down what ideas you have related to each, that's why they're separate. Let's look at Alexander's for reference. So under the entrepreneurship services column, he wrote personal trainer, dietitian, men's community program with faith, fitness, and food as a specific niche, data analytics for gyms, operations consulting for gyms, coaching athletic teams. So you can see these are all things that he would be exchanging his expertise and knowledge for his time. Those are all service-based entrepreneurial pursuits. And then for products, he wrote clothing lines, custom workout plans, custom meal plans, specifically prepared meals for busy fathers, also specifically prepared meals for athletes, ebooks on optimizing holistic fitness routines, affiliate marketing for workout equipment or accessories. So you can see here, there's several things that he could essentially build up front and then sell as a product, hopefully over and over again. The custom ones would be probably more under service, but I guess if he just had workout plans that he was selling or just meal plans that he was selling, that would be a very repeatable, easy product that he would have in his control. Okay. And then let's look at his business answers. So under the services, he wrote classes on analytics for small businesses, data analytics dashboards for faith-based small businesses, super niche down. So I hope you can see how specific he's getting to target that explicit person who's looking for those services. Business strategy workshops, AI consulting workshops for faith-based small businesses. All great. All right. And then next, under products, he wrote drag and drop dashboarding software and AI mini course for small businesses. Awesome. Can you see how the purpose exercise translated into different career ideas that he can now explore further? But hopefully you're seeing how this process is starting to get less abstract and much more concrete. You just trust the process. Now, let's talk about the action items for the career ideas tracker. So first, from that purpose exercise, you're going to log the purpose themes row by row here in the table. And then for each purpose theme, under the employment ideas section, identify existing companies with job opportunities that are relevant and interesting to you. Once you're done filling out that column, then for each purpose theme, under the entrepreneurship ideas section, brainstorm and research possible services that you could streamline and sell. After you finish that, finally, for each purpose theme under the entrepreneurship ideas section, brainstorm and research possible products that you could create and sell. The next piece is enabling avenues, which is another lesson further down the way in this course. However, it's something that you can start to research now. For these different opportunities that you're now looking at on your sheet, what are the ways to get there? Do you need to go to school? Do you need to get a certification? Do you need to get a license? Do you have to take a course? Should you get a mentor? These are all ideas that you can start listing out in your own sheet so that you have a very clear picture of how do I get from A to B. Okay, and I'm not going to read these off on Alexander's, but you can see that he adds some very specific thoughts about possible degrees and trainings and books and courses that he could pursue that would help position him in a very desirable place as an expert to work in these fields. And if you look at it, it's both education that would give him credibility and experience. And then last, add your pros and cons. So in the pros column, what is exciting or realistic about this idea? Does it align with your personality, your schedule, your income goals? In the cons column, what could be a challenge about this idea? Will it require more training? Is it high risk or does it take a long time to build? So think about what these pros and cons would be for yourself. And then if you have any extra thoughts that you want to put, there's a notes column where you can just add any kind of anecdotes for yourself for later. To wrap up this entire exercise, we have 2 more action items. Number 5 is research your enabling avenues. So this could be school programs, certificates, coaching groups, online courses, or other means that could provide you with sufficient qualifications to work in the jobs or create the businesses that you log in this tracker. And then number 6, review your answers row by row and list out at least 3 pros and 3 cons for each purpose theme to help you evaluate what professional path is most right for you. Now you have brainstormed a menu of possible options that align with your passions and your interests, your talents and your skills, what need that you would like to help support or fulfill in the world, and how you could be paid. And as you gain new experience and new knowledge, your answers may change over time, and you can decide that you want to shift or pivot. That's perfectly fine. As you evolve, your purpose evolves too. Haha, pun intended. Essentially, I want you to just treat this as a living document, though, so that you can come back to these answers and you can refine and iterate them over time. And maybe you even just start from scratch. You have this document, you have this exercise, and you know how to do it now. Whenever it comes to ideating what careers feel purpose-driven for you and what tactically those careers could be. Congratulations, you have now completed these 2 worksheets, which are super important and pertinent for choosing a profession that aligns with a calling in an inner sense of purpose. So just to go over your takeaways, you have now a worksheet from the purpose exercise that captures your interests and passions, your skills and talents, how you can fulfill needs in the world, and ways that you can be compensated. From this, you took that and developed different purpose themes, and you can continue to develop more purpose themes and add to this purpose exercise over time. But from your due diligence in this exercise, you were able to then take those themes and put them into the career ideas tracker, where you were able to see them translate into actual, real employment ideas and job opportunities, as well as entrepreneurship ideas in terms of different services that you could sell or products that you could develop and sell in your own business. Then we took that a step further to look at the how in terms of what enabling avenues could actually make these dreams a reality, and the pros and cons of choosing any one of these career idea options. I just want to take a second to just commend you, because a lot of people don't do this, and you being here is investing in your future to choose the right path that actually makes you, dare I say, happy, and that feels meaningful and impactful and purpose-driven for you. We are about to get really tactical on how to achieve that path in the next 2 sections whenever we prepare you to apply and interview for a job in the employment pursuit section, and where we build your own business from scratch, literally the entire thing from scratch, in the entrepreneurship pursuit section. So keep these documents close to out your dirty. You're going to use them again. I can promise you that. This particular exercise was super important, so thank you for taking it seriously, because you're entering those lessons so much stronger, having done the groundwork of what careers interest you. Thank you so much, and I will see you in the next lesson.